Let's be honest, most people book a vacation to chill out on a beach somewhere, but some of us aren't wired that way. There's a certain kind of traveler who actively seeks out the most extreme, volatile, and intense corners of the globe. They're chasing the kind of adrenaline rush that only comes from exploring places most people would pay to avoid. So, where's the line between a life-changing adventure and a trip that ends in genuine disaster? In this video, we're breaking down the 10 most dangerous places you could, in theory, actually visit in 2025. We're talking about everything from politically supercharged no-go zones to Mother Nature at her most unforgiving. Stick around to see which spot takes the crown for the most dangerous travel destination of the year. Venezuela. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Venezuela. This once thriving nation is now caught in a full-blown economic and political meltdown. For any traveler brave enough to enter, that means trying to navigate through civil unrest, violent crime, and critical shortages of food, water, and medicine. Kidnappings are a serious threat, especially so-called express kidnappings where tourists are targeted for quick cash. Despite the absolute chaos, some are still drawn to Venezuela's breathtaking natural beauty, like Angel Falls and the Amazon basin. But a trip here requires serious planning and a very, very high tolerance for risk. Lebanon. Next up, we have Lebanon, a country caught in a tangled web of political instability and regional crossfire. The main dangers here come from being so close to active war zones, with the constant threat of airstrikes and armed clashes spilling over the border. The U.S. State Department also flags the risk of terrorism and kidnapping. What's the pull? Lebanon has an incredible history, from ancient Roman ruins to the vibrant, resilient city of Beirut. But the situation is a powder keg, and travelers have to stay hyper-aware of a political climate that can change in an instant. South Sudan landing at number 8 is the world's newest nation, South Sudan. This country is facing a brutal combination of armed conflict, rampant violent crime, and an almost complete lack of infrastructure. Kidnappings and ethnic violence are tragically common, making any kind of independent travel practically impossible. Most governments straight up advise against all travel, because if you get into trouble, there's almost no one who can help you. The very few who go usually aid workers or journalists with their own security teams get a first-hand look at a nation struggling to be born, but the risk of getting caught in the crossfire is off the charts. Myanmar. Sliding into our number 7 spot is Myanmar. Following a military coup, the country is dealing with major civil unrest and armed conflict. For foreigners, this means you could be arbitrarily arrested or find yourself on the wrong side of a suddenly enforced local law. While the dangers are worst near the borders, the situation can explode anywhere without warning. For years, the allure of Myanmar has been its thousands of ancient temples and deep cultural roots. For now, though, visiting the country means accepting the chilling possibility of being in the wrong place at the very wrong time. Burkina Faso. Cracking our number 6 is Burkina Faso, a West African nation facing a horrifying security and humanitarian crisis. Terrorist groups are extremely active here and frequently target Westerners with kidnappings and violent attacks. In 2024 alone, the violence led to thousands of civilian deaths and forced over 2 million people from their homes. Traveling outside the capital is incredibly dangerous, and many parts of the country are completely cut off. The people who venture here are often doing essential humanitarian work, but the risks of terrorism and violent crime are constant and severe. Somalia. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Somalia. For decades, the name alone has been a shorthand for lawlessness, piracy, and terrorism. The militant group Al-Shabaab is still active, planning attacks like bombings and kidnappings, particularly in the capital, Mogadishu. And while piracy off the Horn of Africa has gone down, it hasn't gone away. But here's the unbelievable part. A small, fragile tourism scene is actually emerging. You can now find guides offering tours of pristine beaches and lively markets, a powerful testament to the spirit of the Somali people. Still, most governments advise against all travel, period. Medical care is poor, and official help is basically non-existent. Yemen. At number 4, we find Yemen. This country has been torn apart by a devastating civil war, which has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Anyone visiting faces the triple threat of armed conflict, terrorism, and severe food and water shortages. With the healthcare system in ruins, diseases like cholera are a constant danger. A few tour operators offer trips to the isolated island of Socotra, which is famous for its bizarre alien-like landscapes. But mainland Yemen remains an active war zone where the risk of being kidnapped or caught in the fighting is incredibly high. Central African Republic. Our top 3 kicks off with the Central African Republic, or CAR. This is a nation practically defined by lawlessness and a brutal conflict between the government and rebel militias. Violent crime, we're talking armed robbery, assault, and kidnapping, is everywhere, and the government has little to no control outside the capital. The country's borders are mostly controlled by violent armed groups. The U.S. State Department's advice is simple: don't go. For the absolute handful of hardened journalists or NGO workers who enter, it's a look into a forgotten conflict, but it comes at the price of navigating one of the most unstable places on Earth: Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank. Our runner-up for the most dangerous place to visit is the region of Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank. This remains an active and incredibly volatile conflict zone. The dangers here are extreme: ongoing military operations, rocket fire, and a high risk of terrorist attacks can happen at any moment. Travel to Gaza is next to impossible and extraordinarily dangerous. While you can access parts of Israel and the West Bank, the situation can escalate without any warning, putting even the most experienced travelers in immense danger. The deep historical and religious significance draws people here, but the active, unpredictable conflict makes it one of the most perilous journeys you can take. Haiti. And the #1 most dangerous place you can actually visit in 2025 is Haiti. The country is in a state of near-total collapse, with armed gangs controlling most of the capital, Port-au-Prince. The security situation is off the charts volatile. Violent crime, including kidnapping for ransom, murder, and carjackings, is out of control. In fact, Haiti has one of the highest kidnapping rates in the world, and getting basic necessities like fuel and water is a struggle. The U.S. government has publicly stated it has very little ability to help its citizens there, and has advised them to leave as soon as it's safe to do so. For all these reasons, Haiti stands alone as the most dangerous destination for any traveler in 2025. These destinations really push the boundaries of what travel can be. So what do you think? Are there any places on this list you'd actually dare to visit? Or is there a dangerous spot we missed? Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the world's more extreme side, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. From political chaos to all-out war, the world is full of places that walk a fine line between adventure and pure peril. The pull of the unknown is strong, but knowing the real risks is the most important part of any trip. So wherever your travels take you, do your research, be prepared, and as always, stay safe and adventurous.